Welcome back to iHeart Crypto, where I take you through my crypto journey. So, we got Bitcoin right now looking like it wants to break out of this rising wedge. So, we're just going to keep an eye on that for 1 minute. We got the crypto market. We might put in a little bit of a long here, but we need to decide on which coin. In essence, it might be coming back down to test. We might be doing this live on stream. Immutable X has just gone nuts, so we're not buying that. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Crow looking really good. All of these are looking fairly bullish, so we might need to put in this long right now. Although, if you look before, we did have a little bit of a fake out here. We came up to the upside, faked everybody out, came back down. It looks like we're coming back up. So, yeah, because if you look, we've been in this downwards channel since November 21st. So we are looking for a bounce up, and if we do get a bounce up, I do expect us to test this level right here at 40K, and then come back up here to the golden pocket around 56K. We could make it back up there. We might not. We'll see. But right now, all eyes are on Bitcoin and seeing if it breaks out. I mean, this could be, it's right at that trend line. Of course, my trend lines might not be perfect, so we don't know exactly where the breakout's going to be, but it'll move up fairly quickly. And if it comes up to here, we may put in a little bit of a long. We might back test a little bit. Might be a fake out even higher to the upside. So we're going to see about that. So we got no one in here right now, which is pretty normal for our live streams. So that's okay. So yeah. So we're just waiting on Bitcoin to do our little bit of a long here. We have lost tons of money so far. Tons of money. We had $3,300. We are down to $1,600. So a long might be something that can get us back up there. And it looks like we are getting rejected from that line. So we're just kind of flirting with this line a little bit. This could easily roll back over. Let's see if there's any divergence on this. This is the 15-minute. There is bearish divergence on the 15-minute. That's where you have lower highs on the RSI, higher highs on the price action. So we do have a little bit of bearish divergence. And if you are unaware of how divergence works, on this PowerPoint that is free in the description below, there is a divergence cheat sheet. And here is your bearish divergence right there. And it shows you exactly how divergence works. So, before you go YOLO into these longs, just realize that there are bearish divergences. But realize this too. They're not as strong on the lower time frames. So if you look on the higher time frames, it looks like we have made slight bearish divergence on the 1 hour. If we take it from this high right here and come down to this low, that's slight bearish divergence right there. So unless this comes up and breaks this high right here, that'll negate that bearish divergence. No bearish divergence on the 4 hour though, so that's kind of a good sign. And no bearish divergence on these higher time frames. So really, Bitcoin needs to make a higher high in the RSI to negate this bearish divergence. Come back down. It'll come back down to test maybe that low right there in the RSI before continuing up. So because we have bearish divergence, this doesn't give me a lot of confidence on the 15-minute, and it doesn't give me a lot of confidence on the 1 hour, which are usually the 1 hour where short-term traders are trading. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Let's go back to the 15-minute. Still coming up a little bit. Just watching Bitcoin. Just watching Bitcoin. Let's put on a little. Put on a little music for this. We have a little watch party. Here comes Bitcoin. Here comes Bitcoin. Trying to make that breakout. Do we put the trade in? And what do we buy? Luna has sold off quite a bit. Luna looking like it wants to come up. Luna's really down there. Alexa, turn off. Sorry. I'm not feeling this song. Let's take a look at that one. Go back over here to the 15-minute. Could have been another fake out to the upside. Or that could be the back test. Or this could be your bearish divergence playing out. Don't act too quickly and don't get emotional, right? That's the idea. So, this could easily flip back into a green candle, though. So let's just keep an eye on Bitcoin. Looks like we could be back testing this trend line right here. See if it comes down anymore. I doubt that it's gonna go to the upside with the bearish divergence. I really do. I think that this is all just a fake out to the upside. No one's looking at divergence down here. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's just dumb retail, you know, maybe doing their trading view. Kind of like me. Yeah, we are getting rejected. Pretty normal for Bitcoin to kind of play with your emotions. So one of the things is that this is a rising wedge, and we did come up to test here and over here. Alright, so we got one touch here. We didn't make that touch, but we got another touch. So we got 3 touches on this line. That's a good sign. And we got 3 touches on this line. Now the good thing about these is that you are making lower lows and higher lows and higher highs. Those are all really bullish signs. However, this is a rising wedge, and rising wedges tend to break down to the downside, where we could be coming back down to test these lows right here at 33,000. Just saying, depends on a lot today. Today is a big day. The crypto markets are heating up. They are heating up today. So we have a lot to be looking forward to today. I might do another live stream later around 2 p.m. And the reason for that is, let's just take this down a little bit. Keep it right there for that. Put a little music on the live stream today. How's that? Alright, let's see if anybody's in here. Still nobody in here, and that's totally normal. So, in fact, no, let's X the music out and do a little something like this. Alright. So yeah, that's Bitcoin in a nutshell. Okay. What else do I expect from Bitcoin? Other things I can expect from Bitcoin, like I said, we were in this downward channel, and I got a couple fibs drawn in here. These are basically support levels to be buying at, 28,000, 20,000. Anywhere in between this range right here is going to be buy zones. All right, if we do range in there, and if we dip down here, this is aping in zones. This is where I'm aping in, where my cash will be gone. So a couple things I wanted to go over here is we had this huge drop in May, okay? And we did a little bit of consolidating down here where everybody kind of panicked out of the market, especially right here when we started to go into 29K. And as soon as people started to panic, what happened? Boom, big to the upside. And if you do look, if you did draw your fibs out, and I'll redraw them for you, show you how you do it. All right, what you do in that case, if you were see Bitcoin kind of break out to the upside and kind of break this level right here. I mean, this is confirmation right here, where you had that resistance right there, kind of broke that level. And if you did want to put in a long right there, you could have drawn your fibs out to see where they could be. So you take the top right here, which is your swing high, to your swing low, and you draw it down a little like this, just like that. And if you look, we came back up to test this golden pocket right here. It hit the golden pocket perfectly before coming back down to the 0.382, all right? And then it had come back up, made the all-time high at about $69,000 before coming back down. Now, if this is the bottom, we might expect Bitcoin to come up here to the golden pocket, or maybe the 0.5 fib to kind of test that high again. So I think that this is a key level to be looking out for right here on the 0.5 fib to kind of Bitcoin will get back up to, which if you do on Bitcoin in particularly, I mean, that is a 30% move. If we go up, it's a 50% move. You know, the time to buy in would have been down here. I mean, that's ideal, but no one can time the bottoms. What we're looking for is a little bit of confirmation either of the break of this trend line right here. That would be a huge confirmation. And if that does break, that'll be huge for the altcoins. You'll give them a little bit more faith in the market to kind of move back up. And if that does break, I can expect a level of 47,000 approximately, just based on the fibs, you know, and nothing else. But that would have some confluence here with these support, which will now be new resistance. So, sorry, just something to think about. But anytime we break this zone right here, about $40,000, that's confirmation enough for me to kind of put in a long all the way up to about $50,000. Buying down here would be dope, but we kind of missed it. So we are just kind of waiting for confirmation because there is a good chance that if today goes bad, that we could be rolling back over here to test these lows right here and possibly get your bounce up from there. It's possible. And I do expect a bounce up to that area, whether we do it today, tomorrow, or if we do it, you know, a week or a month from now, you know, where we get that bounce back up to the upside. So one of the things is that if you were holding, you do not want to sell in the red, because look what happens. If you were to sell here, you would have missed this entire run up. Or at least if you did sell here, you would have missed this bounce, this retrace, right, for your fibs. So, you know, what did we learn from doing this right here? You know, we did know that we would have a bounce in around this region, all right? But what do you think is going to happen? Pretty sure that we're going to have another bounce, maybe create another lower high around this region right here. Jeez, every time I'm on live, I get a dry throat. Maybe just from all the talking. So that's what we're looking for Bitcoin. And I think I have some more fibs drawn in here somewhere, just to kind of see the retrace. There it is. So here's your Fibonacci retracement going downward. And, you know, one of the things is that from this top to this bottom, we do have the golden pocket zone sitting at about $30,000. That is where our bounce might come from. It didn't exactly hit the 0.5 fib. It kind of went below it, which would have been a good place to start buying, although we did not. Let's just see where that would have been. Right here. We wicked below it. That would have been a great place to long. But that was still at about $36,000. It came all the way down to about $33,000. That was a great bounce. A fantastic bounce. Let's just check on how Bitcoin is doing on the lower time frame. Still getting rejected from that line. And again, this is a bearish pattern, so it's very likely we come back down. That's just the probability of it all. So let's check out the overall crypto market. Let's refresh that right here. We got Bitcoin up 4% in the past 24 hours. Ethereum up 4%. BNB up about 4.5%. Solana up 6.7%. We got Dogecoin up 10%. A lot of big movers here. All right, there's been a lot of rebounding in the market. So Near Protocol up 13%. And let's see if we have any big gainers here. I know there was a couple, but it looks like these mid caps really haven't bounced too hard. You know, it's Gala bounced really good. So, you know, one of the things is that, you know, when you see a bounce like this, you know, those are good projects. The ones that bounce, you know, fairly hard. You know, Engine is a good project, but something like, let's say, eCash maybe isn't the best coin, but Loopring is a very good coin. All right, AMP AMP is a tough one to tell. You know, there was rumors about AMP partnering with Amazon. Waves is a great NFT platform. That's had a really nice bounce. What else can have a really good bounce? Anything else down here? Nothing here on the top 100. I'll even go to the 200 coins today and see what kind of bounces we're getting. Voyager token had a good bounce over the past 24 hours. Synthetics. Immutable X, which we're going to be talking about today. Something I've been looking into, and of course I didn't buy Telcoin with a good bounce. Of course I didn't buy Immutable X, which I should have done yesterday. I thought about doing it maybe 2 days ago. I'm a big fan of Immutable X, and I did not get any. So, you know, Ultra, I don't know anything about Ultra. I got it starred, though, so let's just take a quick look at it. Why not? It's sitting at $1. Let's see. Ultra describes itself as a blockchain-based PC game distribution platform designed to provide both games and game developers with new opportunities. It consists of an ecosystem where gamers can, on top of buying and playing games, resell their used games and items and earn money through their participation in Ultra. So it's a play-to-earn gaming token. Let's see how it's done in the past year. Yeah, it had a run up with the gaming sector right there in about November, right at the peak of the market where gaming and metaverses were just going nuts. So that narrative is basically over. So, you know, Ultra might be something you want to hold off on. Maybe, you know, these things cycle around. So maybe when it's down, you know, it'll come back around in maybe 6 months to a year, something like that. So just something to keep your eye on. Ultra. Let's just see. So let's take a look at the Fear and Greed Index, sitting at 23. We have been in extreme fear for a very, very long time. Let's look at over the past 7 days. All right, we had come down here to 11s, 13s. We've been in the teens for a little bit now, and we even hit a 10 on January 9th, or January 8th, which if you look back here, you would have thought it would be a great buying opportunity. On January 8th, so let's just come over here to the daily. Let's see when January 8th was. January 8th would have been probably right here. No, it's the 21st. See, this is where you can see where the fear, buying at 10 in fear, you went way down. I bet you Bitcoin kind of comes up to this 40 level. That's where the extreme fear was. I can almost guarantee it. I kind of almost can guarantee it. I have a good feeling today. But then again, the macro view just isn't that great. Let's take a look at our heat map. Basically a green day across the board. Sol up, AVAX up, Crow up. Excuse me, I have to get a drink because I'm dying. Oh, much better. Much better. Okay, sorry. Yeah, basically a green day. Like we said, our portfolio has diminished quite a bit because we've been trading in and out. And yesterday I did a video on death by paper cuts, where when you're jumping in and out of trades, when you're jumping in and out of coins, you know, the exchange fees alone can cost you 8%. Not to mention if you're panic selling, you've panic sold your 3%. So, you know, 10%, 10%, 10% off the top. You know, you do 3 of those, 4 of those, you've lost 30% of your portfolio right there. Plus the panic selling. One thing I tried to do when I started this channel is to encourage you and to teach you all the ways to do this crypto market right. And, you know, I don't do it right. So if you do the opposite of what I'm doing, you know, I can give really good advice, but, you know, you can follow what I say and don't do what I do, which should be the opposite. You should be watching what I'm doing, and not what I'm saying. But, you know, this is what we have to work with now. All right. And the best strategy is to DCA. All right. And if you don't know what DCA is, let's see. I don't think I'll be able to find it that quick. You know, DCA means dollar cost averaging. And dollar cost averaging can limit the volatility of the market and kind of give you an average cost buying in over a period of time. and it is very useful when trying to eliminate the volatility of the market. I think that's going to keep going off. Yes, it is. Hold on. Oh, another alarm, another disturbance. Okay. We wanted to make this video like the best video ever, but of course we have all these interruptions. So let's see. DCA should be in here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Dollar cost averaging. So dollar cost averaging, DCA, is an investment strategy in which the investor divides up the total amount of invested across periodic purchases of target assets in an effort to reduce the impact of volatility of the overall purchase. The purchases occur regardless of the asset's price and at regular intervals. In fact, the strategy removes much of the detailed work of attempting to time the market in order to make purchases of equities at the best prices. Dollar cost averaging is also known as the consistent dollar plan. So, dollar cost averaging is absolutely the best strategy, and you can dollar cost into the market and dollar cost out of the market. So what would that look like? Let's say you got into Bitcoin fairly early, around this region, okay, where you had been buying in this range right here from approximately 10K to about 3K, kind of a big range. But while you were running up, right, you could have taken profit at any point. So let's just take it from the highs at about 10K. So you go up 100%, maybe you take half off the table. You go up 200% from there, maybe you take another half off the table. You go up another 400%, right? You take another half off the table. And now you have all these profits to buy back in way down here in the dip. Right down here. That's where you, and then you could have maximized your gains there and taken profits along the way as well, just like you did going up. And this was a 100% move right here. So, maybe you wanted to take profits at about 100%, take half off the table right there. That would have been a great way to take profits. Let's get rid of these lines. So profit taking is also another extremely helpful strategy when you're making money in crypto. So we went over dollar cost averaging. So I want to go over Immutable X. Immutable X is a really cool project. I think it has a lot of potential. So Immutable X positions itself as the first, so it's a first mover, layer 2 scaling solution for NFTs on Ethereum. According to Immutable X, the blockchain does away with Ethereum's limitations with low scalability, poor user experience, illiquidity, and slow developer experience. Instead, users benefit from the instant trading and massive scalability while enjoying zero gas fees for minting and trading NFTs without compromising the user or asset security. To achieve that, Immutable X is built with Stark ZK rollups, a technology that Vitalik Buterin, the creator of Ethereum, is set to be all in on. So it fits the ZK rollups narrative. It fits the NFT narrative. It could be very, very big. And if we take a look at the Immutable X chart, for example, which should be coming down significantly here fairly soon because it has a big run up today. I mean, it is down how much from its all-time highs? It is down almost 70% from its all-time highs. And if it did get back to its all-time highs, which I doubt it will by the time, unless Bitcoin has a huge run up, maybe it'll get back there. I mean, you're looking at a 200%, a 2x from here. So, and if Bitcoin does have that rally we do expect, back up here to about 56K or even 51K, that might be Immutable X might be a really, really good coin to begin to for rapid gains. So, again, we're checking on the Bitcoin price every 2 seconds. We did get it rejected from that line. Again, you wanted to put it on a long at resistance. If you really think that Bitcoin is going to be big, if Bitcoin's going to be moving today, you might want to put in a long right down here about the low 37s. So, right around, the mid 37, the mid 37.5. If you did want a long Bitcoin today, that would be where you want to do it. But let's see, that's going to be right around the time the meeting is. The meeting, in case you were unaware, well, let's just finish going over Immutable X. This is their website. All right, experience zero gas fees, instant trades, and carbon neutral NFTs for marketplace games and applications without compromise. Build your NFT business in hours with our APIs. So, a limitless exchange protocol. The future of the asset trading is digital. We're ensuring NFTs are traded in an open, decentralized ecosystem, secured by Ethereum. Zero gas fees to peer-to-peer trading. Set your own trading fees. Non-custodial risk. Users keep their private keys. That's big. Massive scalability, up to 9,000 transactions per second. Not a centralized sidechain. Secured by Ethereum. A true layer 2, inherently secure of a layer 1. Any NFT that is created or traded on Immutable X is 100% carbon neutral. So, high-performance minting, fast track on your product of Immutable X Mint. A secure way to create and distribute assets on massive scale. Create ERC-721 or ERC-20 tokens designed for single and bulk minting, zero gas costs, assets tradable instantly, same security as mainnet of Ethereum. So, I think that this could be very, very big. Immutable X, and it is on Coinbase. So, it's very accessible. Now, what I was saying before is that if you did want to long Bitcoin, you might want to long it right around here, about 37.5, 37.3, right when it kind of comes back down to touch this trend line. If you did want to long it, because at least if you longed it, you can set your stop loss here if it gets rejected up here, or if it does break down, which it could, you could set your stop loss. If it does break down from the wedge, it could be going down to 30K. Which could be 20% drops in these alts, so you can get out at 5%, maybe lose another 10% of your portfolio because of the fees. So right now is not the place to be longing Bitcoin. Let's just say that. So why would Bitcoin drop out of this falling wedge? Well, today we have the FOMC meeting for the Fed, and it is not expected to raise interest rates this week. So anticipation over the pullback in Federal Reserve stimulus has markets rolling, setting the stage for what could be a pivotal central bank policy setting in this meeting this week. Although the Fed has signaled it is very likely to raise rates multiple times this year, the first post-COVID rate increase is not expected this week. Instead, policy setting Federal Open Market Committee will likely tease higher rates coming in its March meeting. So raising those rates, also referred to as tightening policy, could dampen the rapid pace of inflation felt by Americans across the board. For example, betting markets show the largest probability, about 31%, or 4 interest rate increases, 25 basis points each, by the end of the year. But those same markets are pricing in decent odds of the Fed tightening a little bit slower. 3 rate hikes, 26% chance. As they are for Fed tightening a little bit faster. 5 rate hikes is a 20% chance. And they gave us this little chart here. Target rates. Let's see if they gave any dates. So these are current target rate in BPS. Not really sure what this means. But either way, there is a big meeting today. And based on what the Fed says, could depend on where the markets move, which is probably why you're seeing all this upward movement, trying to get everybody bullish again. And if it does play out, I don't know. We'll see. This is typically a bearish pattern. So, maybe it's getting everyone bearish. We have a fake out to the downside, like this. A couple fake outs down here before heading through and kind of change the price structure of it all. So we are expecting a pullback here. If you do want to long, here would be the spot to do it. So we have the meeting today. Another thing, Bitcoin is seemingly approaching an oversold zone. Bitcoin is approaching the oversold zone, the green box with reference to Powell multiple regarding this metric. It can be seen as the bottom is near. The last time it triggered a bounce back is when the value reached a 0.4 approximately. So what they're saying here is based on this metric that the bottom could be near. And as you can see, we have a touch there in the green zone, and we are approaching the green zone right now, which means that the bottom could be near, but the bottom may not be in just yet. So what else do we have? Oh yeah, we have coins. Excuse me 1 second. Let me just take a puff from my vape. Don't smoke, don't vape. Just saying. Anyway, these are potential coins that could be added to Coinbase. And the coins I'm looking at to buy would be Arweave, Phantom, Near Protocol, Luna, Sandbox, and VeChain. Those would be great coins that could be added to my Coinbase portfolio. Of course, Phantom is on Crypto.com. Near is on KuCoin. Luna is on Uphold. So is Sandbox and VeChain. So it's not like they're inaccessible to me per se. They're on different exchanges. However, I kind of do like having everything on Coinbase. So it's one place to keep everything. So if these coins do here, I mean, back in let me think, May, June, July, Solana was added to Coinbase, and it did set the price off quite a bit. So, just something to be thinking about. If these do get added to Coinbase, Arweave, by the way, is on KuCoin. For example, if you had VeChain in your Uphold account, it's a very likely that once it's announced that VeChain gets added to Coinbase, that there's going to be the Coinbase pump. So just something to keep in mind. Anyway, Bitcoin enters the value zone as Bitcoin price floor metric goes green again. So this is very much like this metric we were looking at over here. The dynamic range NVT returns to levels seen just twice in 2 years, the March 2020 coronavirus crash and last year's reaction after the Chinese miner shutdown. And supporting the thesis is NVT, which calculates how overbought or oversold Bitcoin really is. Valuing the Bitcoin network based on the transaction value throughput suggests that we have entered a value zone. And we had Benjamin Cowan over here talking about the fair value zone, and basically he was talking about how this line right here on the logarithmic scale shows times when Bitcoin has been overbought and oversold. So anytime it goes below this line, that's like a great buying opportunity, and every time it goes above this line might be where you want to take profits from. And I do have another interesting chart here. This is called the Bitcoin Rainbow Chart. And in this chart, it shows you historically places where, let's just switch that right there, places where there has been overbought and oversold. And right now we are coming down to the green, which is about the accumulate zone, which might be, we're still cheap. It's about in the still cheap zone. But what we should be waiting for is collecting cash and waiting for the accumulate zone and the buy zone. So we're in the hodl zone right there. Is it still cheap? Let me see. Oh, it'll tell you. So it is, it's in the green. It's basically in the accumulate zone. That's basically where it is. Yeah. So, just something else to be thinking about. Basically a fire sale when it's in the blue. That is ideal. So, just another thing to look at. We went over the value zone here. Is there anything else there? No. We went over Benjamin Cowan. And now the IMF urges El Salvador to discontinue Bitcoin's legal tender status. The global financial institution said Bitcoin use as legal tender poses a risk to the country's financial stability and integrity and consumer protection. So, the executive board of the International Monetary Fund recommended that El Salvador discontinue the use of Bitcoin as legal tender in the country due to financial risks and liabilities created. The IMF directors stressed that there are large risks associated with the use of Bitcoin on financial stability, financial integrity, and consumer protection, as well as the associated fiscal contingent liabilities, according to the report. Directors also urged authorities to narrow the scope of Bitcoin law by removing Bitcoin legal tender status. Some directors are expressed concern over the risks associated with issuing Bitcoin-backed bonds. The country has been accumulating Bitcoin. They've bought about 410 more Bitcoin, reaching more than 1,500 Bitcoin held. El Salvador plans to issue a 1 billion Bitcoin bond this year that will be 10 years in duration and US dollar denominated. So what this is telling me is that the IMF is fearful of Bitcoin, that Bitcoin is a threat to them and they want to get rid of it. Is the IMF really concerned about the citizens of El Salvador? I doubt it. The IMF is concerned about lining their own pockets and keeping that money in their pockets. And Bitcoin is a threat to them. So just something to think about with the future of Bitcoin. So, what else do we have here? Ooh, the price of Bitcoin could exceed 1 million by 2030. These are moon boy dreams. This is hopium. This is something that, you know, you could pay attention to. Just something interesting I saw. So Bitcoin's market capitalization is in trillions. 2021, it is about $1 trillion. And it's saying that it could go to $28 trillion, which would make it about $1 million Bitcoin, right? So this goes through all the net value points and basically market caps of correlating assets. So what we're looking at was 50%. Well, you can read this on your own. If you can understand this. I just thought it was very interesting. And that is it for my tabs. Let's just take one last look at Bitcoin. Let's see if anybody actually came into the live. Anybody actually come in here? No, not a single person. Anyway, that is it for today's video. I hope you all have a great day. Stay safe and don't lose your money. Protect your capital. Take care.